Greetings, my fellow tape measures. Welcome to the main event, known as making a noteblock song. Hopefully you have watched the wiring tutorial and the world edit tutorial, because you will need those today. Also, I learned that the installation of world edit on Mac is basically the same. You just have to find your .minecraft folder, and it's the same forge and same world edit file. So first of all, we'll want to go to the internet and go to our Google Drive link that I have in the description. It's just this, and I have multiple folders. Here's resource pack stuff, world files, which is what we need, and some examples. Right now I have these world files. I have some change logs because I have made iterations on the design since I made these videos. So very important, if you have this version, you'll want to at least do the fixes I'm going to show you when I start the game. Otherwise, you could download the latest version, which I think is fixed. It better be. And that has some extra features, and it has all kinds of fixes. As I make this example song, I'll be able to thoroughly verify that the machine works. Yes. And I will be building this example noteblock song with all the techniques that I know that aren't exactly covered in all the videos. And you won't need to use all of them. You could use none of them. But they're useful things that might help you compact or get the most out of this machine. But again, don't feel like you're missing out if you just don't understand one of them. Okay, so what you want to do is hit the download for this version, or whatever the latest version is. Let it zip and it'll download like this. Now I can take this file, open it. Okay, I don't know why I put a zip folder in a zip folder. That's kind of dumb. Copy. We'll go to our Minecraft folder. We'll go to saves, and we will paste. Although I think I already have that here, but you would just paste it there. This is all for Minecraft 1.17.1. And that should be it. You can then launch Minecraft. So now I will open the old world, the oldest version, 1.0. I'm going to show you how to upgrade the 1.00 machine to actually functional. So we go in here, like just the corner of this machine on this side. Break in. By the way, if you can't see, use like a night vision potion. So we enter the machine on this corner. We go towards this thing. You will see there's an impossible floating vertical redstone. That's bad. That means I goofed up with world edit right before I put the save out. So I'm going to place a block here, right? I'm going to break this block. I'm going to break this block. I'm going to break this block and put a block on top. Break that. Break that. And just wire my way up like that from this torch. There was nothing here. I think this was shifted 2 blocks previously. But anyway, like this. 3 blocks like that. And wire it up. And that's done. The second thing is really simple. Just right click this once. Set the 1 tick. And that's it. You now have a working 1.02 machine. Now if you already placed some note blocks inside the machine, pretend this gold is note blocks in the redstone. And you want to upgrade to the new machine, version 1.1, what you can do is use a world edit command that I hadn't showed you yet. This is called schematics. Now, I'm going to copy wherever my redstone stuff is, the bounds of it. So I can look down, this is a good corner, then go over here, I can select this other corner. And I'm just going to do a normal copy, right? I'm going to stand in this far corner just because I'll remember this spot. Do copy. And I'll stay in this spot and do / schematic save noteblock1 or whatever you want to name it. And you can do this for each layer of the machine. and just name it a different thing each time. And then you will quit that world. You will go into your desired world, and this is a old version, but it doesn't matter. For all intents and purposes, the rooms are the same structure. And I will stand in this corner, and then since we're in a different world, we have to load the schematic. / schematic load noteblock 1. And I can just do paste. And there we go. We would have all our note blocks that we previously had in the new version of the machine. So, I've said once we get to the machine, inside the machine you'll have to do this and that. Well, I'm going to show you. What we have here is a hallway. You go into this hallway and there is this vertical pipe, and you're supposed to fly. That's double tap if you didn't figure that out. You can go down and you can go up. There's different floors. Here is the listening area. I'll go in here first. So when you're in here, you can stand basically anywhere in this area. The blue is the perfect center, and all the note blocks will sound within range and mostly the same volume, with the exception of the intentional volume changing layers. There's a start button and a stop button, and it takes absolutely forever. It takes like 25 seconds or so, maybe a little less, for it to actually turn on once you hit start. And the stop, it's a bit faster, maybe 13, 15 seconds, I don't know. Got our cool power button, got our big speakers, and you can see that the layer is kind of indicated by the color here. Black, it's the black listening room. I'm going to go down. We have this layer. Now this is the main area. This is where you will put all your note block strings, or most of them, unless you run out of room. Actually, I think it'll be helpful to review this machine that we did previously in the wiring video. So we have this clock, right? And we press these pistons down to create connections to this loop. So like we can start this loop. Like this. Ouch. Right, we got note blocks, we got music. Very nice. But we can control which loops are active. Now we cut out all the bass by breaking these connections. And like, here's the kick right there. So if I break that, it will no longer have the kick. You can effectively take all those loops and just wire them up here instead of to that thing with the pistons. So you'd make your loops, and it'd be a certain length, like 16 beats or something, or 8 beats, or 32 beats. And the magenta line here is the same as the blue line, is just an additional 8. Each of these wires here are controlled by the computing stuff inside this machine. Now these colored rectangles here are for where you should try to keep your note blocks inside of. And that's pretty important, because if you're up here in that listening room, and we're below it right now, and you have note blocks like over here for some reason, they might be very quiet. Also, like, why would you do that? I mean, so you know what? Let's make a loop here, and let's do the test clock, which is exactly what we have outside of this machine that I just showed you, but without the pistons. We'll have to break wires in order to simulate different note block loops being on. Also, we want to send this clock to this row of outputs. We can select many rows, but it's on like a per row basis. Now we have pulses coming out of here. I think this is once every 16 times 4 ticks. 16 beats, 4 ticks per beat. And we're going to bring a wire out here to the note block area. Just like that. Now let's make some kind of note block loop. Well, I'm going to go like this, but I'm going to be lazy. I'm going to stack it like this. With our world edit. 15. Nice. So you can see that it's looping properly. I'll give it a few notes to make it different. Okay, so we have a note block loop. And it will go, it will loop perfectly. This is 16 beats, 4 ticks per beat. Now what if I want to make sure that this is aligned with the beat for the tempo? I might be working on a different instrument that isn't so nice and neat with the 4 tick repeaters. Well, I have a metronome, so we're going to press that button. The metronome will only work if this is on. There we go. However, it's offbeat, right? Well, behold the beauty of knobs in Minecraft. So I consider this to be 0 delay if you just had a wire to it just like that. However, we have a repeater there, so we gotta figure something out. But that answer is right here. This is a delay compensation for the metronome. Just right click this to make it go around and round. And there you go. Now it's in sync. I could put it like half a beat ahead if I want. Like that. There we go. We'll leave it on +1. Now to turn off that clock, I can leave this alone if I want. And it'll take a minute. So you can see that when we pull this lever, everything is going. Everything on this magenta row. Synchronously. But not up here. That's because I need to pull the lever for this row. And it takes a second, like everything. There we go. Let's keep looking around. So, that was this room, where most of your note blocks will be. There is a second room for note blocks up here, and it's only one layer and it's smaller, and it's the same width and stuff, but height-wise. And it's the exact same thing as what's down there. And we have a third note block room, which is really strange. In here, this is our delay tower. And by delay, I don't mean like milliseconds or ticks. I mean like the actual VST effect, makes copies of an instrument at lesser volumes. That is exactly what this is for. The red layer is like about -3 decibels. The yellow's about -6. Green's -9. And this is like -13, the blue. Very roughly, it also depends how far you are to this corner or that center. And you may have noticed in each room we have our note block demo thing. Very cool. Now at this point in time, you probably have a lot of questions. Is that all the machine does? How do we control it? How do we make songs with it? I don't have to sit there and break the wires and place the wires and break the wires. Allow me to introduce to you the main attraction. The playlist. Oh, what is the playlist? It's like FL Studio playlist. Kind of. There is no piano roll. I mean, the way you're doing MIDI and stuff in the so-called patterns is just note block loops in the top rooms up there. Now you can imagine this like FL Studio or any other DAW's playlist area where you compose the project and all the clips and you put them together. Everything horizontal like that is time, and this is 40 channels for 40 different note block loops. And we have our magenta, which corresponds to that first layer in that first room. We have light blue, which corresponds to the top layer of that first room. Orange, which is the top room. And then our 4 colors here for that very top room, where you do volume effects. These little markers right here are helpful if you look down a row. You can see like this is after 4 rows, after 8 rows, and the big ones are 16 rows. Now when we hit the play button up here, what happens is we have some sort of delay line, like the cursor in FL Studio, and plays everything in this row. By flicking a lever, you say for that input to turn on when this row is powered by the cursor. We don't see the cursor, we can only set where it starts and where it ends. So for example, this will be the very first thing to play when I hit the start button, because we start right here, and then this is the very first magenta output that we have in that first room. And then you can see here we have our project settings. We have 150 BPM, which is 4 ticks per beat. We have 100 BPM, which is 6 ticks per beat. And you can just flick this lever to switch between them. Now don't change project settings when you're in the middle of playing a song. I mean, they'll probably break things. I mean, probably not. I put a lot of work into spam protecting all the circuits inside, but there might be a way. I just don't know of it. We have a power light disable since we're powering like 100 or so lamps in that listening room. If you have a very slow computer, you can try activating that, but generally I'd leave that off so that the power light stays on. And then we have our number of beats per line. This really just determines how long it takes for us to stop reading this line and then switch to this next line, and then to this next line. Now the machine is designed to give you the best resolution if you use 32 beats. And by resolution I mean how much you can divide pulses up. And I'll talk more about resolution later, but honestly you don't need to worry about this that much. If you're unsure, just use 32 beats. You can always fix it later without redoing all your note blocks. 16 beats is probably a good number though. Now I want to explain something real quick. When we have 150 BPM, 4 ticks per beat, and 100 BPM, 6 ticks per beat, we look at this, and I'm going to talk in terms of number of 4-tick repeaters. At 150 BPM, it's 4 ticks times 8. So that's 8 4-tick repeaters. But if we had 6 ticks per beat and 8 beats, we get 12 4-tick repeaters. So what I'm really saying is, you could have this at 100 BPM, but just make 4-tick per beat note block loops. That would be 12 4-tick repeaters long instead of 8. So you don't have to abide to 100 BPM when using this parameter, but the metronome will be in 100 BPM, so you might not want to use that if you do that. Now let's say we want to play it safe and we'll pick 32 beats, 150 BPM. Well, what if we don't want 32 beats? What do we do? The solution is we find a track that we don't want to be 32 beats long, and we pull, which lever is it? This one. So for this track, every time I put something in here, like there, or let's say 4 down, like right here, then although this will take 32 beats to go from here to here, this will actually repeat itself halfway through. So the otherwise 32 beat gap is split in half and repeated. That's what this whole thing does. I could actually split it more and turn it into 4 pulses of 8 ticks. This will allow me to save the number of note blocks that I use in more repetitive note block loops. As you select less beats, you'll get these warnings about alternate behavior. Really, it's no longer behaving like a pulse doubler or a pulse splitter or whatever. Now it's actually just making these 16-beat loops twice as long, but with double pulses. So we could look at this one again, I think it was. We'd have this. If I wanted to do what I did here, I would have to then go like this instead. Because this selection, when we're at 16 beats per line, means that if we have 8 beats times 4, our actual pattern length here is 32. So if we did this, it'd just overlap itself twice. Now these two things here, this and that, are the cursor start and stop positions for when you hit play in the listening room, and maybe you don't want to hear the whole track. Maybe you just want to hear a section of what you're composing, because that's the section that you're working on. So I created circuitry to let you do that. So say I want to listen at this point and stop at this point. When you select the lever for start, you press the start button and it starts with this line, of course. But then it'll go from here to here to here and then to here. And it'll play this but it will not play the next one. So by default, we'll have the start point here and the end point all the way over here. The machine, when you hit play, it'll just look for the one that's closest to the beginning. Like if I have a light here as well, it'll play this one instead of that. And the same applies to the stop point. If I have this here, it'll stop it here. Also, if you want to see a little secret, these are actually placebo levers right here. They do nothing because these are permanently held down. So in case you accidentally don't have anything selected, the machine doesn't explode or something. And finally, we have this thing. This shortens whatever we select here. So like if we have 32 beats, we can choose to make one of these lines or a bunch of lines shorter than 32 beats. We could make it 24 beats. We could even make it 28 beats. We could make it 4 beats. Now, why might you want to do something like that? Let me show you. Here's a very old Minecraft world from a server I used to play on. I've made a lot of noteblock songs on this server. But here's an example for why you might want to shorten it. This is Jingle Bells. So if I play this, this is like a very small, non-customizable version of our FL Studio in Minecraft. So we have our spine thing, our delay spine. And you can see that we have the different instruments going where the torches are. In our case, in the machine, we have levers. But look, right here. See, that was 4 beats long, and everything else is 32. So I tried to represent the machine in FL Studio as best as I could. Unfortunately, it is so much work to get this to actually work as a project. But it's like all the channels that we have in our Minecraft playlist thing. We have the different volume regions. All of our note block loops are exactly like these WAV file exported 16-beat loops right here. And I can play them together to make different kinds of sounds. I messed up with the BPM, so I'm just going to use 130 here to show that this works. This would be like the top box in our Minecraft machine where there's the 4 different volume zones. So we'll just play these clips here. And it works like that. Now, these are different kick samples layered to make one kind of kick sound. And I had to split it into 4 different pieces because it's the volume layers. If I wanted to have an instrument play, I just have these 16-beat long patterns here, like this, for, I don't know, piano. Right? And it's just a trigger. That's all these patterns are doing. They're triggering our loops. So I'd have this like here, and I'd have it down here. Now I might have a break, and I might not use the piano. Now I'd use the piano again. And maybe here I have like a bass, right? I could have this come in right here, and then maybe I want it to go here, and then stop when the piano comes back in. So that's what we're really doing here with this giant playlist. We just select where we want the triggers for our different note block loops. You can kind of imagine the sample right here, like the piano sample. And of course, that just goes up into the box. And using these functions right here, you can see it says like subtract a certain amount. So if I do this lever, well, it'd really just look like me taking one of these clips here, like that, and then moving everything down. That's exactly what these do. And if I pulled both levers, yes, you can combine these levers, then I'm subtracting 75%. And now this pattern's only that long, this trigger. Or I could only subtract a quarter of it, just like this. And I'd have 3/4 long trigger. And I'm on 32 beats here. Actually, let's switch this to 16 just for consistency with our FL Studio project. We'll subtract 50% of our timing. That means it turns into an 8-beat trigger. And that also means that if we have an 8-beat trigger powering a 16-beat loop, that we might accidentally overlap that loop. So we want to make sure we know what we're doing when we use these settings and send our signals to the correct loops. We can't do subtract 12.5 on this because That's only available for 32 beats. The shortest you can make a trigger or a pattern. I like calling these patterns just for that's just how I describe it. But like we can't divide it down more than 4 beats in one pattern. If you don't understand this that much, that's okay. I'll be covering everything in our test song that we're going to be making today. And this is honestly like an uncommon feature to use. Now, sometimes 32 beats is preferable just because you can get a lot more length out of the song. Now, I haven't really calculated how many minutes it is, but it's probably over 6. So you can use 16 beat loops on the 32 beat setting. However, you can also very easily use 32 beat loops on a 16 beat setting. And that would just be by going like this. Let's pretend this is a 16 beat trigger, right? Because we have 16 beat increments and we're triggering a 32 beat long piano loop. We just would place it only every other section like this. We'd alternate. We don't have to use this. So our system here is really flexible. There's a lot of personal preference and different ways to do the same thing. But that said, let's actually do something with it. So I'm going to use 150 BPM in 16 beats. I'm going to undo that. I'm going to start placing in some loops. Now I like to make the loops before I really decide the song structure. I'll get rid of this, and I will move in some of my loops I already made. Whoa! Okay, stop this thing from going around. Good. Now which do I take first? Maybe these bells, because they're kind of loud. I'll put them like on the first thing. You'll see. Actually, I'm going to select it like this. Copy. And right here. Paste. Whoops. So, the best reason why it probably broke through here is because my loop was turning left instead of right. I will prevent this by using the second loop here. I will paste it. Just like that. And now I'll bring a wire over. If this is the first wire, and I plan to make wires like kind of encompassing this turn, I want to make this as far out as possible. So that if I have to go like this, and to keep going, you know, I can at least do that for a few times before I have to like resort to crazy wiring, or I get lucky and my loops are a different length, where I can then adjust and kind of go like this maybe. So I will now connect this like so, and I'm going to grab a different loop. Well, here's 4 bass loops. It's a great thing to copy, like this. And you can kind of see that if I were to paste my note blocks, you know, my first note block's going to be right here. And if I had it here, I had my repeater coming in, like if I decide to paste here, it will power this ice one through this note block. The ice one, though, won't power this because it's already getting its power from the middle one. Anyway, pasting it here for technical reasons. Nice. Oh, not nice. I'm going to paste it up here first. Okay, I think we're good. Paste. Awesome. I'll bring these wires in. And like I was saying before, look, we've been saved. Our turn size gets smaller. And now we're going to have to turn the wires the other way. And now logically I'll want to turn as far as I can this way. Because now I have another wire that has to go like this. I mean, you don't have to worry that much about how, like, the shape of your wires. It's just, if it becomes a problem, you'll have to rearrange those. More loops. Now, I want you to notice something. I have this copied, and I'm going to paste it right here. So, it goes pretty far this way. Now, if you remember, our last wire has to go right here. We will either have to go out of bounds of the machine, which is a no-go, or we'll have to bend our wire this way. And considering that we just ran out of wire space, well, let me show you. Like you see here, I could try to bring a wire over here and bring it to like here instead. But it's kind of annoying. I'll show you both ways that we can solve this problem. We could break this wire, and we could make it like vertical a little bit. And be something like that. And then we'd have space. But alternatively, we can mirror our noteblock loop, which is what I'm going to do. So when I paste this, it ends up right here. However, if I want to mirror this, I'll look this way, do / flip, and I'll paste. Awesome! And I will bring this wire out. And I'll stand here where our entrance repeaters are and paste. Bang! Now if this gap here bothers you, and it doesn't have to, I mean, it's fine that this is here. But if it bothers you, I guess you could like respace some of these, like make it 3 wide. This will work just fine. There's really no need to change it. So I'm going to put this wire back to normal. I'm going to make sure these reach. Yeah, it's fine. Let's see what other loops we have. We have a second piano thing. And don't mind the 2 repeaters here. It's supposed to have 4 ticks extra delay. For this loop, that's how it's designed. Copy. And let's paste it over here. Bring out this wire. Paste. You can delete these rings if you want. They're just guides to show you that your note block shouldn't go out of that range. Wire that up. We've got 2 wood loops that we can use. Copy. I'm going to bring this wire around like that. Paste. Wire these. I have a something glass loop. Copy. Paste. I'll go back again. We got a snare loop. Copy. I have 2 more loops here. Also snare. Copy. Paste. Wonderful thinking, Jackson. So, I should have listened to my own video and put these snare loops on the bottom. You know what? I don't care. We have space. We'll just put blocks underneath, like this. Wires. Good. And there's one more loop. This is a weirdly shaped one. I'll select it like this. Yes. And right here. Break that. Copy. And paste. Wire. So, wait a moment. We have a 1 tick repeater here and a 1 tick repeater here. Whereas the other loops where it starts, it's just a 1 tick repeater. Like, here's a normal one, here's a normal one. This one's intentionally offset. And so are a bunch of these. This is unintentional offset, you know. 2 1 tick repeaters. So I'm going to add a repeater for every other line. Doesn't really matter where, since they all reach. Okay, well, our whole thing here is pretty decked out. And this whole room is saturated. Fortunately, we have another room up here, the orange room, and we have the volume control rooms. We can use the red if we really run out of space, but I think we'll have plenty. You know, the red being only minus 3 dB, and that's only in like this area that I measured that number. So let's see here. I'm going to break every one of these wires. I'm going to test out the loops with our test clock feature and metronome. And the metronome would be more useful if you were building the loops actively inside this room, which I already did build the loops outside of the room, so I just copied them in. Okay, I think that's good. Toggle test clock. Select both of these rows as outputs. And since this is our output repeater, I consider this 0 delay. We have 1, 2. 2 extra ticks of delay. So I'm going to set this to +2. And now it will be in sync with our kick. Annoying! Actually, I'm going to change this almost 16-beat kick into an actual 16-beat kick like this. There we go. So we have kick drum. Let's see what our bass instruments are. Okay. What about this one? Yeah, I like these two. Now, I have a suspicion that these other two loops here for the bass instrument are just monotone. Oh, only one of them's monotone. And it's this one. Yeah. So my idea here was that this is like when we're not playing any melodies, like the intro, outro kind of thing. Or I mean this one, where it's just monotone. I can get rid of that. And this will be when I don't have the kick going on. Like, it'll kind of substitute that beat keeping aspect of the sound when there's no kick. It's like I'll disable this, or be a little more consistent, Jackson. Enable this melody. Now, I disabled this halfway through this melody because this is 32 beats and I have a 16-beat clock. So that's kind of tedious to test it that way. If I wanted to, I could just switch this to 32 beats and use our doubler setting. Because these settings will apply to the instruments up here, even in that test clock mode. So I'm going to go 32 beats. And I'm going to apply the doubler to every channel except this one. Now we can hear that it pulsed, but this one skips it. And then it'll do it, it won't skip the next one. Because these are all doubled up on a 32 beat pulse, so it's 16. And this stays 32. Yeah! Oh, this one's supposed to be offset. It's the same thing. Anyway, don't worry about it. Let's put in our kick. Okay, let's go up here. Okay. But what if I want to switch to this? Like add this in. Whoa, Whoa! Oh, I forgot to add the doublers for the top row here. The pulse doublers! Let's activate those for the whole of the blue thing. So they now function like 16-beat loops. Party! Oh, but not this blue one. This is supposed to only repeat every 32. Oh. I kinda chose the piano to be on the opposite side here compared to this one just because the panning effect would be kinda cool. Whoa. Okay, and then we have the secret sauce. I'll just stay down here. What's this? Ugly. Also, is this only 8 beats? I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna disable the test clock. Stop! Okay, I'm gonna break this wire and copy this. Or cut it, rather. It's just the same as copy, but removes the stuff. Go to our top floor here. We'll go to the red. And we'll paste it here. Oh, not there, not there. Oh, and wait a second. It's going to go past that boundary. Yeah. So how about I fix that? I'm going to make it turn right a little bit. I think that's the pitch it was. No. No. Now I can move it all the way. Cut. Paste. Wire this up. And don't forget about the 1 repeater delay compensation. And I'm going to go down to our basement. I'm going to select our first red. I'm going to repeat it 4 times because it's 32 beats. We're going to make it 8 beats. Also, since that's way up here and our listening area is a little higher, the mixing will sound different. So I'll go up there to listen. Oh, wait. No. No. Select this for the test clock to go there. Yes. It'll take a second. There we go. And it's at a slightly less volume than it was down there. There's a few loops I haven't tested yet. Which are they? These, I think. Okay. This one. Okay. So 2 bass things. I think my intentions were to repeat this 3 times and then repeat this 1 time. Kind of like at a break in the song. And then during that, I was going to use this. Crazy. And that is, of course, an 8-beat loop, not 16. And this is a snare thing. Oh, it sounds bad. That's 8 beats long as well. I think this is too. Wait, no, this is, what is this, 16? Yeah. Because of all the extra features I have in the machine, I don't need this loop. Well, let's go to actual sequencing. I'm going to turn everything off here. Wire these all back up. And the same thing up here. Before I actually go down there, I'm going to look at each of my loops, and I'm going to make like a little cheat sheet for which of these inputs is which, like controls what loop. So I'm going to use the packed ice and like the type of instrument for each of these loops. So it's packed ice, 4 wood, 2 stone, 1 dirt. Yeah, that's 8. Okay. Now add labels where necessary. So sign. And we'll say this is which one is this? Okay. Constant. I'm gonna say like constant 2-tick offset. Because it plays between the beats, not at the beat. Like if we have a 1-tick repeater here, that's on the beat. But we give an additional 2 ticks. And then our next one is melody highs 2-tick offset. This one is, oh, that's the one I just did. That's lows 2-tick offset. And I am pretty certain that's just the same thing except without the offset. I'm gonna put melody lows. Just leave it like that. Also, this may seem like a waste of note blocks to have both of these. I mean, the only difference is, the delay coming in. Well, there's something cool that we can do to save the amount of note blocks that we have to place. We could make this 1 tick, but I could just have this go in to this wire and delete this. So that means this is now going to be our non-offset loop, and it'll make sense in a second. That's right, melody lows. And yeah, there are no rules saying that you can't have 2 inputs powering the same loop. So this is now our identical to this loop. I'm just going to break this and realize that this delay up to this point is the same. If I were to just merge this like this, there would be no difference powering this input versus this one. But I could tick this 2 times. Now, this one will power at 2 ticks offset, and this one will power it, completely in sync with the beat. The only downside to this is that I can't have both of these loops playing at once. But since I don't plan to do that, that's okay. 0, air, and I'll just move this like this to be a little more neat. And so then we have to update this sign, 2-tick offset. And then what do we have? This is our constant kick. Okay. Constant kick, kick, -3. It's missing the 3 beats at the end here. Then we have our dirt, which is our main melody. I'll put a little magenta bar across this because that's the magenta inputs. And now we're doing the blue inputs. And we have, what's this? Oh, the complement to the melody. Dirt. There we go. We have our wood again. And that's going to name it the second part. It's a different section of the music. And name that 3x. And this is 1x. Because I'm going to repeat this 3 times. And I'm going to do this once. Sand. I'm going to use sandstone because it doesn't actually fall. And we don't need it to sound like the instrument. It just needs to look like sand. Normal snare. And this is, it plays 7 snares really fast. That's an 8 beat loop. Oh, hold up, Jackson. There's a space in between here. Break. Normal snare. And there's another space. 7 snare. And then no space. Emerald. Let's name that chip. And then I might as well, I'm gonna put the, oh wait, what did I do here? Bells. Okay. And then I'm gonna name the beats per each loop. So most of these are 16. This one's 16. Also 16. These are all 16 here. This is 32, the main melody. This is also 32. This is 8. This is 8. Our 7 snare is 8. And our chip tune is 8. Okay. So this is our cheat sheet, our bar of labels. I'm going to copy it. Copy. Go down here. That was right here. Excellent. So now we know what each of these lanes are supposed to be. Now I'm actually going to turn this back to 16. Just because it'll be easier to compose the song that way. In my opinion. Unflick all of these. Get a clean slate here. And that looks good. At this point we have a lot of loops, but it's not all of them. I'm going to make a few more later. But I'd like to sequence some stuff first. Where to start? Well, a baseline is a good place to always start. So, which one of these is it? This one. A 2-tick offset. Okay, so I'm thinking I want to have our melody thing for 32 beats. You know, loop this twice. So just go like that, since it's 16 each. And then I want to have my constant kick come in right here. After the fact. But this is kind of boring, as it is. So how about I add in, like, the snare, the normal snare, right here. No, better idea. If we could do the 7 snare, right on the second half of this part right here, that could sound really good. But how to do that? Because if I just pull this lever and leave it like this is an 8-beat loop. Now we'll play 8 beats early. Well, I can move all of this up. So I'm going to leave a gap here. Right? And I'm going to shorten these two patterns. 50%. So that our 16-beat loops become 8-beat loops for right here and right here. So it triggers it, and then it leaves it be. To make this more clear, let's look at FL Studio again. Let's pretend this is our bass, right? And this will be our snare. Now we've shortened the patterns to this length, but it's still a trigger. It's going to play for this long, the bass. So we just don't trigger it a second time. That's why this step is on, but this step is off. So again, 16 beats, 8 beats, 8 beats. And because of that, we can then put our snare, that's only 8 beats long, right here. And then everything will resume back to normal. Let's test that real quick. So here's our start point, and we'll put our end point. Where's that? We'll stop it right here, a little early. Remember that these two lines, the start and stop points, they respond to whatever's the closest to the beginning. So it's okay that we have a lever all the way down there. We'll just ignore it. Anyway, we're going to test it. Let's just go up to our listening room and press play. And hopefully I didn't forget anything. That'll take a while to start. It's a very slow machine. So remember what we're listening for. Oh, I did it wrong. That's the not monotone one. That's fine. Oh! Okay, I know exactly what I did wrong. This is not 8 beats right now. It is 4. So I gotta fix that. Copy, stand here, and then move it 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can fit 4-tick repeaters in there. Cut. Paste. Okay, so that should fix it. And then I need to resequence this. Because I had the wrong bass. I wanted the monotone one. And I think our label's fine. Yeah, melody. Constant's the one we want. But even then, you could hear, maybe, that our mechanism for triggering this twice, and having this play 8 beats and 8 beats worked. Because it did trigger the snare. It just triggered it 4 beats early. And it's not that I triggered it at the wrong time. It actually triggered it at the correct time. My loop was messed up. Let's try this again. Good. Monotone bass. Snare. Good. Excellent. Kind of boring though. What if I change the last 2 notes? That gives us a sense of time a little bit. And then maybe after that I'll have the snare come in. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks good. And then maybe I'll go from this monotone-ish bass to a normal bass with our melody. And we want the 2-tick offset one so it's not clashing with the kick. I think here. Also note that now this isn't accurate because we used a feature, which is this shortening thing. I mean, you could adjust it if you want. Usually you can just look at the geometry of the selection you've made and kind of figure it out. The bass melody, I have that 4 times. And then we want more kicks. Actually, we can use our -3 at the end here, like this. It might be cool to alternate like that. So it's 16 kicks and then 13 kicks. Let's see how this sounds. Is that out of sync? I think it was. I'm gonna check. Metronome powers. Activate. Break all of these except that one. I can delete this, by the way. Test. Let's do our metronome as well. I'm gonna place this in a second. Yeah, this is late. Does that fix it? -1? No. Like this. Good, I think. I'm gonna do that one more time. Yes. Okay, that fixed it. Off. All of you off. Spam! Please don't fire again. Okay, good. Actually, let's use our change start location feature here. I can change it to just analyze this spot where that 7 snare happens. And I'll have it stop here as well. Nope. No, that's... Stop. There. Yes. Good. No! Oh, because I left the lever on. Okay, I turn the lever off. We know it works. It's fine. What next? How about we pull the kick back? So like just not use it for a second. And where are we? Here? I'm gonna mark that. Let's use the chimes. We have the technology. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll have our normal bass on again. I say we have no kick just for 16 beats. Then we'll have the 13 beat kick, the -3, which is right here. -3. No, it'd be right here. And then we'll have the normal kick. And during that part, we'll have the snare. The normal snare, I mean. Actually, let's do another one of these 7 snare things. Where would that be? That'd be right here. So I'm going to unselect that, and then have it like this. Something like this. I'm going to select 50% here, like that, for that row and that row. And then 7 snare, right there. Now let's reset our markers here. Put this at the new end of the song, which is right here, and see what happens. Good. Our start position worked. And 7 snare. Yeah! Good. Excellent. Drop the kick. Oh yeah. And then no, I forgot the snare thing. The main snare. But it works pretty much. Everything that we sequenced. Right here. 1, 2. There we go. I think I want another kind of effect. I kind of want to make like an automated volume in terms of kick, like have it rise up. So let's make some more loops. We're going to go up to our very top layer. We can do that kind of volume automation of sorts. Start here. Build out. Delay compensation. Nope. Wait. I want this 4 repeaters here. Because it has to be an 8-beat loop. Yes. I'm going to have 2 beats here. Kind of like this. Twice the speed. I'm going to copy this. Copy. Paste. You can see I left this like hollow so you can fit in between here if you need to. And then we want this another 4 ticks. Well, I could just break these. Actually, yeah, I'll just break these. I was going to say we could add 4 ticks right here. Okay, extra 4 tick repeater. No, leave this alone. Like this. I'm going to start the test clock. I'm going to select these 4 sections. not the ones down there. We'll see what happens. Oh, the metronome's on. Oh, that's not the metronome. That's this loop. No! Okay, so you saw that. It goes bing, bing, bong, bong. Yes. I'm gonna do it here too. Paste. Ah, hell with it. I'm gonna resize this. For the sake of the tutorial, I'll show you. So these are identical now. I'm just gonna add 4-tick repeater here. I just have to remember that that's not delay compensation. That is actual offset for the instrument. And here I'm gonna add 2 offsets. And I don't mean to get confusing or anything, but 1, 2, 3, 4. I just added all that extra delay. Okay, so that's normal plus 4 ticks plus 8 ticks. Rise my creation. I'm tempted to move this a little bit. Paste. Copy this again. One, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good, but I only want 1. Like that. Now let's go downstairs and see what that actually sounds like. Volume automation. Just going to turn all those off. Connect this up. And it's a good idea to label these. Oh yeah, we had our glass on this side. So that's, no, just make it 3D. Yes, like that. Glass. Hi-hats. 8 beats. 8 beats. And our stone. What am I going to name this? 7 kick. It goes 7 times, but it's 2, 2, 2, 1 for the 4 layers. 7 kick, red 1. Sure. And then 7 kick, yellow 2. 7 kick, green 2. And 7 kick, blue 2. Oh. Okay. Okay. So where do we leave off here? We have our stop point. Okay. Had our snare. Yes. We had the snare effect at some point. Oh, yeah, we used that right here. I don't want to overuse that because we've already used it twice. And I want to use this kick thing. Okay, so what I need to do is space this stuff out. I'll show you a little trick you can do with World Edit. If you composed most of the track already, but you want to interject one of these 8-beat loops in there, you can make 2 8-beat patterns here like that, or like this, but that would mean you have to shift all of your levers ahead of that up 1. It should be awful to do manually. So you can in fact move all this stuff with World Edit. Just highlight the levers only. Copy and paste. And then you undo the first row of what you just moved, like this. Then we'd have all the other next rows ahead. So now let's shorten these. And then because of that, we can then enter our kick thing here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks good. And that's on our second part of the 16-beat loop that we split into 2 sections here. Let's see how it sounds. Wait, I'm going to move the start point. Let's start here. And the end point. I meant to put it here instead because of our things down here. We need to shorten the kicks right before it reaches that point. So right now our kick drum, even though if we chose this it'd be the same thing, almost. It's like overlapping our delay effect. Not our delay effect, our volume automation, which is bad. I need to make another kick loop, one that's shorter. Let's have 9 kicks. And we'll bring this wire down. Wait a second. Oh, I'll just make it up here. It's fine. That works. Okay, which one is this? This is blue, right, light blue, 6. Kick, -7. So our last line is here. So our last kick was right here, which is bad. And we are instead going to use this one. Let's move our start point. We'll play these 32 beats of stuff. There's 2 things I really don't like. One is that our kick that we just made down here, it pans all the way to the right. And the way I'm going to fix that is by completely removing this. And instead, borrowing this wire and taking it all the way down and injecting it at a point across here that only plays 9 kicks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Just send it right there. Oh. Okay, good. Just need 1 repeater, which is exactly what we needed to add anyway. You heard that? 9 times. The second thing I didn't like was that the volume of it was really dumb. It was quiet. I guess -3 decibels on the kick is a big deal. Let's use our orange room, and instead of all of this, we could skip a few steps. Which one though? Probably the blue. We'll skip the blue. Die. And since we're starting at the green, like the green is now basically the blue, remove 4 ticks from each of these. And now we go downstairs. We'll find the center. Excellent. Let's make sure this is in sync. Test clock. No! Oh, we have to add another kick like this. Let's see how that sounds from the room. Good. Disable. And now I'm gonna fix that up. Our settings here. So we delete this, remove this, and we find our middle orange. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent. You know what? Yeah, let's take our more monotone bass here and let's apply it after this. After our stop marker. So it's gonna like do the kick thing and then it's gonna go to just this monotone bass only. And then here, I'm going to have the main melody come in. I don't know if it'll sound bad in the context of the monotone bass. We will see. Did I pull the wrong one? Yes. Oh no, it's going to overlap. Oh no. Here. Okay. Now I'm going to change the start point to there. Also, wait a second, I haven't used the hi-hats. Dang it. I should be using that. I completely ignored it. I actually rarely use the glass instrument. I just don't like how it sounds. But I'll try to use it. It can be good. It's just annoying, especially at its main volume. Excellent. Let me audition the hi-hat loop up here. What does it sound like? Let's see if I can add that in at any place. Where would be a good spot for that? Let's put our start point here. Oh yeah, I was looking at the bells here. These two spots. Now let's find a red area. It's these two, I believe. So we have that change in effect. But now I want to think, what am I going to do after this? I want to see how things would sound if I went from our more monotone bass here to our melody bass and did absolutely nothing else. So I pull that 2 times. Main melody. Following, 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 following. Here. And skip 1 because it's 32-beat loop. I'm just going to move this wire to this other input, which is not used. Okay, I've confused myself. I'm breaking this. This will be the 7 snare, because it used to be exactly that. Okay, and then this wire. Yeah, that's fine. Melody lows. It's not the 2-tick offset that we needed. Or at least that I wanted. Move. Although I think, actually, I'm going to move this back to the normal melody lows, like how it was before, and then add on melody highs. 2-tick offset. Here. Now it should sound okay. Let's move our start position to right where that happens. I mean, right where the volume automation thing happens. Okay, that did work. Okay. Excellence. Actually, I'm going to move this back to the normal melody lows, like how it was before, and then add on melody highs. 2-tick offset. Here. So I'm thinking about how we can go into the main part of the music from just where we have right now, which is the bass melody and the bass melody high part next to the main melody. There's no like build up or pause that we can do right now. So I believe there's something that I want to do that is yet another tool that you can use. And this involves some redstone I haven't taught you yet. So I'm going to go out here and show you something. These actually control some of the test loop features. When you pull a lever saying power this row, there's timed pulse that comes through here that gets sent to every single one of these wires, which powers the entire line. Not important. What is important though is this little mechanism which I have that makes sure that this clock pulse that comes through here every so often does not power all of these lines no matter what. I wanted it to be lever selectable. So this uses something called an AND gate. What is an AND gate? It's a logic gate, yes. It works with ones and zeros. Here's our levers. Here's some redstone torches. I haven't shown much of how these work, but bear with me. I have two torches here. When you power a torch, or more specifically the block that it's on, the torch turns off. Like that. And torches can be placed on the side. This redstone's powering the block that the torch is on. So that torch is off, these two torches are on. Now an AND gate just means if both of these levers are pulled, then we get an output. This wire turns on. However, if not both of them, or none of them, are on, then this wire stays off. And you can see why that is. I mean, this is inverted, so it's one less thing holding this wire on. When there's nothing to hold this wire on, the torch turns on. Why is this important? Well, it means that we can have a switch and a noteblock loop. For example, I'll make a quick noteblock loop here. And since a torch takes one tick to turn off, it's like a one tick repeater. And the path that it takes to get there when this is on, and like turning this input on would do something, it'll go one tick, torch turns off, 0 ticks, the wire turns off. One more tick, this torch turns on. 0 more ticks, this wire turns on. So 2 ticks to go through this circuit. Which means if I want to have a delay of 4 ticks to my next note block, I apply 2 ticks here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I have some more note blocks. Just making a quick clock here. So we have these notes, and then nothing. You can see our signal's not going through. If I pull this lever, whoa. Now just imagine, imagine that we use one of our lanes, our channels or whatever's, as just a signal that goes to an AND gate. And then we can give that fine control to a loop like this. That'll let us do something that we weren't able to do previously. I'm going to move this example outside real quick. So I want you guys to be able to refer to it if you need to when I hand out this world file soon. But here you can see that we have essentially the same thing. This is an AND gate, although there's actually 7 AND gates. It's one input is these wires, and then the output's right here. That's our second torch. And these are the wires that are being held on by our second input. The only thing is, we have all these second inputs of the 7 AND gates tied together with this big wire, which essentially means whatever signals you put here stay as they are. I'll do it like this. There'll be nothing going through until I power this wire. And it's exactly those signals. Then when I let go, they go away. That's actually exactly what we do with the pistons. More specifically, I mean these pistons, where we have our signal going into all of these, and then if the piston's down, it allows the signal. This plus this equals output. Anyway, I'm going to paste it here. How about here? Okay, So these are the two bass loops that we're using right now. Now imagine that we cut off these last four. Let me put a block on top. And this last one on the highs. What would that sound like? You know, when a block's on top of a note block, doesn't make sound. Maybe if I break these two, it'll sound better. Let's also make it play with the main melody. Fire the melody. No. Maybe it should just be like this. That could sound really cool. Just cutting off this one for the 4 notes like that. And thank God, because this one is much easier to, stick stuff inside than this one. We'd have to move stuff around. Also because its length would now be more, need to curve around. And I'd have to move this. So what I'll do is break this wire. It's annoying. And then no world edit this time. Just break these things. I can remember what notes they were. I'm going to put a block there. 2 ticks. Torch. Dust. Another torch. Another dust. And then our wood notes. We'll just wrap it around like that. Excellent. Now I would say put a torch here, but then you might see that this torch would actually power this block up here, and it would goof up, you'll see. It flickers for a moment because it's 1 tick that this wires off, and then this turns on. And since torches only allow pulses that are at least 2 ticks in length, nothing happens. So we need a new strategy. Why don't we try this block? Just put it like that. There we go. Now it doesn't flicker, and this wire up here doesn't get power. Here's a spare input, and spare output, whatever. Bring that all the way over here. Now the only thing is we need to time this right. So our pulse is only so long, it's 4 ticks long. And sometimes it's easier just to do guesswork and delay it until it works right. But this time I'm going to think my way through it. Activate this layer. I think that's 12. Oh, the signal's not long enough. 3, 1. I think that's good. Actually, I want it to be perfectly synced up. More. There we go. Okay, I had to add 2 extra ticks because I forgot about this guy. And now we need to make sure it still works if we're powering through this 2 extra tick start. Yeah, excellent. Disable. Wire all these up again. Now let's implement that. Oh, which thing was it? 1, 2, 3, 4. What block should I choose for that? Oh, I know. Redstone block. The perfect indicator. Bass, melody, lows, disable, last 4. Accurate. And I think that is right here. Yes. And I think reusing our kick effects might be really effective here. But if we're doing that, we need to split it again, so we'll leave that be. Shorten, shorten. This one, this one, this one. Not the blue, that's retired. What was it? Did I forget to label it? Yeah, I forgot to label it. Orange one. And rename this 7 tick red 2. There we go. And since I have an idea how it's going to sound, I'm just going to keep composing. Let's put this down here. I don't know how far that is, but it's fine. I have an idea. For purely organizational purposes, you know, this whole thing here is messing with me. Because it's not accurate anymore because we're using, you know, 2 steps sometimes for just 16 beats. So I'm going to increment this up in little portions. Oh, that's our kick. Yes. We'll go our kick -3. Complement melody. Throw it in after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bang. 1, 1, 1, 1. Three normal kick things. One of the -3s. We'll put our hi-hats in right here. 1, 2. And that's all doubled up, so that's fine. Where's our 7 snare? I want to put that in. Yes. Normal snare. We gotta use that. Oh, we won't use it right away. We'll give it some time. And then I want to have just the bells. Remove both melodies and just have the bells play. I think that's here, yeah. Move this. Stop point there. Where's our kick? Right here. We will not do the -3 kick. Our bass. Did we forget about our bass? Yeah, we did. Space. Wait, no. Okay. Let's see how it sounds. Bring the start marker to here. No. What in the world have I done? Oh, I know. Look, we're not letting it through. Change to an inverted signal, so it will let it through. Oh, that's what I missed. Forgot that I split it up here. Now let's see how it sounds. Good. Yes. Exactly what I wanted to hear. Activate snare. Okay, 3 things I want to change. But overall, that was great. This, the normal snare, needs to be on after we turn off that melody. Here and here. Same with the hi-hats. And I think the hi-hats need to be on earlier too. And then, I need to look at what I have available up here. Is there nothing left? Oh, ridiculous. Think, Jackson. I want to make this play and have it cut off this. So I was thinking about doing another one of these. I don't have another one of these. There's no inputs left. Well, let's think about this. I never had this problem before because I never played this at the same time as this. So what if I do some sort of hacky, like, volume ducking or sidechaining, whatever. We'll go from having this play, it will disable the rest of this in all cases. And this will always play just fine unless this is playing at the same time. So the first step is to figure out like how these play together, like the timings and stuff. Let's get our metronome. Well, actually, I don't need this then. Start, test clock. Oh, also, remember that we have this, we split it into 2 8-beat loops. So this is actually playing 8 beats later than it is right now. So I'm going to simulate that somehow. Go up here. Dust. Good. It's all timed up now. Can we turn this off? I do not like the metronome. Okay, so I disabled these, and now I need to bring a signal out from here that isn't like immediately when this is playing, but a little bit before. So we can get a signal to something like this. So I'm actually going to add 4 ticks, like that. I'm going to remove 4 ticks here, so I can take a signal from here. So where does this overlap? I think 1 tick before we hit this note block. So let's break this. 2 ticks. Go like this. And we'll bring the wire around like this. Okay, now I'll bring a wire over there. We have to get a little creative to power this. Now, notice this. In this loop where I had to add an extra inverter, and here's our AND gate, this effectively cancels out. And this is just a double inversion here. So in fact, it's just an AND gate that never used a torch for its one thing. So it's a this and not that kind of thing. Which means we should be able to just power this without a torch. Have it do exactly what we want. Disable this turning on. Because I mean, if we power this, this torch is not going to be able to pass the signal through this. I'm going to go like underneath it. You see, here's problem 1. If we have our dust here, it'll just never work. Because this will power it. And even if we're not powering it from here, it'll power and it'll disable it. Disables itself. We're not going to do that. Place a block there, because we can't power this repeater through that. But we'll have our wire going into that block. Therefore, repeater gets powered. Repeater does not power wire. And, very careful, this repeater doesn't power this wire. If it was up 1, it would, but it's down 1. Design! So I'm just going to wire it up and time it up. I'm going to do this one just manually, like timing it until it works. These up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here. Oh, that didn't work. Is this too slow? No, it's too fast. 1, 2. Excellent. So whenever this plays in sync with that, it disallows these last 3 note blocks to play. And let's break this to prove that it still plays. Excellent. Okay, remove our extra delay thing. Let's place our next markers here and here. Actually, let's switch this to a 9 kick, or a kick -7. Yeah, this thing here, I believe. Remove the other kick, which is one of these. Move this up 1. Double this. Add this in. Our automated kick. Also part of our automated kick. I want to add something for our emerald loop. We haven't used that yet. Let's listen to it right here. That's meant to pair up with these two, which I haven't used yet either. We'll switch it to 8 for a minute. We got to put that back though. Toggle. Break all of these. Does that sound okay? This part. Now it sounds good. Let's put these back together. Now I want to add something that lets you know the emerald is coming in. Let's use our delay tower. This one, because I don't want to ram into those accidentally. And this will be very similar to how I did this. In fact, it will even play at the same time. Honestly, let me just copy these. Hell yeah. This is going to be a pretty ballsy world edit, but we have to try. Copy. Did it work? Yes, I did not explode anything. Now this needs to be this. So I'm going to mash that up. 2, 2. We're going to add 4. Add another 4. Add another 4. Test clock. Enable. Sounds good, I think. I have to run it in the context of these instruments. Oh no. I'm not going to be able to test this so easily. We just have to shoot our shot. Die! But how does this sound by itself? I'd like to hear that. Yes. Extinguish it. Well, let's mark it on our things. What do I call this instrument? Square. That makes sense. Square. Blue 2. Square. Green 2. Yellow 2. Red 2. And since this is happening at the same instant that we have the kick one, we're just gonna highlight it right next to it. Like this. No additional work required. That's not true. I lied. Gotta move these up 1. Now it should be good. Also, I think we should rethink these bass things. They're only 8 beats long. Don't waste precious energy. Length of this machine. And that's because we can repeat this twice and then fire this 1 time. And so that second half of that 4 operations requires that we split it into 2 8-beat loops and not use the pulse doublers, which means it'd actually be entirely 8-beat loops. Damn. So, moral of the story, we're going to make this all one loop. It's going to repeat 3 times and then do this 1 time. It'll be all one line. Yes, we don't need this anymore. We'll offset that. I'm gonna rename these. This no longer exists. This is 32 beats. Bass. Second part. Now let's place it. Yes. Let's get our melody over here. Double it. Good. Kick. Alternative kick. -3. And do that again. Wait, what? I'm supposed to move this all up. Much better. Snare for the second half of that. We'll put our start point here. Let's hear it. I forgot to change it from 8 beats to 16 beats. Interesting. I like it. But you know what? It needs a little more pizzazz. You know, when I say pizzazz, I mean absolutely insane delay effects. I haven't shown you this yet. Actually, yes I have. In the very first tutorial I did on wires and stuff, the beginning music, I used this loop in a delay effect mode. And that is one of the miracles that top room can bring. So I'm going to copy this. If you're trying to have it echo, having it on the red floor, it's just not enough wet versus dry mix if you're actually doing this in FL Studio. Like, you can barely tell where the fundamental, actual sound is versus the effect sound. So I'm going to move it up to the yellow layer first. Let's do it again. But currently, all of these play at the same time. We got to fix that. Let's add 3 ticks. So we have like a 3/4 delay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I think that should do it. So we have the original way down there, then plus 3 ticks, plus 6 ticks, and plus 9 ticks. Oh, I know how to make it better. I messed up the delay time up here. It's not supposed to be 3 ticks each. 4. Okay, I don't recommend doing this, but I'm going to have to. Tick this 1. These very beginning repeaters. Tick, tick. This went from 6 delay to 8 delay. Now I have to go from 9 to 12. Tick, tick, tick. Square, delay, blue. Square, delay, green. And let's put it in our project. That'll be right here. And here. And these are 8-beat loops. So we're going to do our doubling for those channels. Now let's see how it sounds. Same selection as before. wrong. Something's very not right. Test clock. Just how far apart am I?
No, 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 no.
I figured it out, guys. I figured out why it doesn't sound right. Oh no. I have a solution. Believe it or not. Cut. Well, 4-tick repeater, and then for the missing delay compensation, we need to tick these. Fix the hole in the wall. Ugh. And there. Crazy. Okay. Disable. Primary square is kind of loud. I'm going to move that. And this is probably only like a 1 decibel change. Actually, it's probably louder. But it'll be censored, which is good. Cut. And I'll just have to remember that it's orange number 5 now, instead of blue number 8. Nope. Three, 4, 5. Where's our 7 snare? Here. That means we need to go like this. Let's just have that run right into our main sequence again. The square, but not the bass. Melody lows. Bing, bing, bong, bong, boom, boom. Bing. Piano. It's every 2 because it's 32 beats. Kick right here. Our snare should be on from the start. And we'll do that. As you can see, we are in the future, and I will now show you how to assemble a large portion of what we were making in FL Studio instead, because I absolutely screwed up. It was horrible. I'm sorry. Where I left off in the editor is what you see in this section. First of all, this is a clear mistake. I need to repeat this a few more times, like this. And we're going to do the highs, like this. And shorten, and now we have our bass line going through the whole thing. Then, somewhat predictably, we will shorten these patterns, because I decided to add a bunch of things in the middle here. Those things being the 7 snare. We'll add that in. This is just the volume ducking that the 7 snare does in the presence of the normal snare. And then we'll add our riser square, which I think goes here. Yeah, square blue 2. Then we're going to get our normal square melody, fill it in right there. And then we need to use more of our delay squares, which will go across all of these. So that's the delay blue, the delay green, and the delay yellow. Then we grab our hi-hats and put them through just like this as well. Now for the second half of this. We're going to select all of these, and we're going to repeat it. Duplicate. That's 8 times all these patterns, or 4 times 16 beats. Same thing with our bass line. We're just going to repeat that, although it'll be easier for me to hand place this here. For our kick, we'll have a constant kick, and we'll have a constant kick here as well. But we'll have a kick -3 right here, And the kick -7, let me grab it. Right up here. Snare all the way through. Like that. And we don't have our melodies here because we instead have the bells. Put those in. And the effect we'll use here at the end is our 7 kick. You know, like our automated kick. And that's going to wrap up the assembly of this whole section. I'm going to show you how it sounds now. It is fairly accurate to play it within the FL Studio project. And I didn't play the previous part after its fixes, so I'm going to play that as well. Feel free to skip this part if you just want to hear only at the end. And since we're already here, I'm just going to show you what the rest of the project will look like. So, in its entirety, the whole thing looks like this. And the section that we did of it was this. Now with the Minecraft machine, I took all the levers once I finished the tutorial and world edited them and turned them into solid blocks and made this sheet of the patterns. You can see it's basically identical. The only difference you could say is things like 8-beat patterns aren't represented the same as they are in FL Studio, because it's always just per step. For example, the repetitions of 8-beat loops, I have to show them. In FL Studio there's 2 of them, but in the machine I just put one lever and use it within a 16-beat step. Like these are the square melody loops. Each of these is 16 beats. But it's 2 8-beat patterns stuck together, and I have to show that, like I said. And the other thing is, when I use our doubling or our splitting of the playlist steps, like 16 beats, I have to show it as additional length. Like, the cursor basically speeds up twice as fast, and then stops again. Now, the section we just made in FL Studio is up to here. I actually had to build this out in Minecraft anyway when I was doing the tutorial, because I got so lost. I think I did the shortening of 2 steps thing without compensating and moving all the other stuff, and I screwed up somehow. But fortunately, this now has a purpose. And so we're going to go back to Minecraft, and I will show you how to convert blocks like this into levers and put them on the machine. So here's how I'm going to turn this into flipped levers. I'm going to take a lever and flip it. Of course, I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to stack it across this entire thing. Stack 80. No. 78? Yeah, that's perfect. And then I'm going to highlight all of those and stack it this way. Stack 30 maybe? 44. Then I'm going to highlight all of this. / replace black wool 0. All the levers except these ones, I guess. How are you floating? Why are you doing that? Stop it. Then I'm going to take these levers, highlight every single one. Stack. 1. Well, that should be fixed. Honestly, I kind of like not having all the other levers. It's easier to see this way. I gotta change my start and stop point though. Good. Good. Excellent. Finally. Fuck. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. I just messed up a stop point. Let's move our start point up a little bit. Here. Now, I want to outro the music. Also, I'm running out of space here, because I chose 16 beats instead of 32 beats. I think I want to try something interesting. I'm going to have a 4-beat pause, and then everything will come back in. I think I need to create a new version of the 7 snare. It'd either be halfway through or halfway early. I'll stand here. Copy. Yes. So input, normal amount of delay, +1 because it's a 1 tick offset, and then our delay compensation. And then 2 4-tick repeaters. And just to prove that this is the answer, metronome time. Okay. Yes. 7 snare, 2. Let's find where that goes. Right here. Let's study our beginning here. It was just a constant bass. Let's add that in. So, delay. Also here. What else? Our kick. We should probably have a kick. We'll alternate, so it's a little better, between constant 16 and -3. Normal snare. Break. And here. We'll not use the snare in the beginning of this. I think I'm going to use the square stuff, but only like the riser effect part of it. So this one, this one, this one, and this one. No. Yes. And that of course means I need to shorten these 2 steps. And then how about we go to the normal melody bass, but 2-tick offset, just like we had in the beginning, right here. And where's our main melody? We'll do here and here. So 1 cycle with the melody bass, and the other cycle without. And that'll be our outro thing. Now for my final trick, I want some kind of crazy outro effect. And we can see we have a lot of stuff available. We have the 2nd output here, and the 4th output for all the other ones. Let's go upstairs and design it. So I didn't do this yet in this music. I wasn't really going to do it, but I changed my mind. I think it'll sound cool. We can use the snare drum as kind of like a noise effect, or some kind of sound effect where you have the pitch of it rising. Now this will be kind of complicated because I don't have another space after this on my playlist down there. I gotta make the best of what I have, which is the very last line. So I'm going to take that very last line, I'm going to do a rising part, which will be exactly like our rising kick, but it will be 4 long instead of 2. Oh, but I gotta add 8 4-tick repeaters, because we can't use the the normal method of making 2 patterns half as long. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Input repeater plus delay compensation. Then have each of these like this, and it's going to be 1 note higher as we go. So this stays unchanged. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to copy. Make sure you get the blocks under the sand. Copy. Paste. Okay, but now I want 4 extra ticks. Move this. Add 4 ticks. Tick all of these up 4 now. Not going to copy the bottom blocks anymore because we have the floor. Actually, why don't I just copy it like this? I'm standing on the first repeater here. And then when I paste, I stand 1 block in front of it. And then I add my 4-tick repeater. I can do the same thing here, except 2 blocks in front. Oh, but I gotta take these 8 now. Because I'm still using a copy of this upper one. Test clock. Let's hear how it sounds. Amazing. So it's just a riser right there, but now I'm going to turn it into a delay. No delay starting on this one. I'm going to start from 1 note higher. I'm going to have it go all the way down to 0. I'm going to make it a shape. I make it go this way first, and I leave like a wire here, like this. Diamond. That's the peak. Go all the way. No, not past the red line. All the way to the other end. Now we're down to 7 ticks. 7 note block ticks up from the very beginning. So my next one will be 6. But look, I'm placing a repeater here like this. This is how many notes long? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Meaning, if I have 8 ticks delay between this and whatever I do next, I can't go that way, I'll be okay. One, 2, 1, 0. Test this loop. Excellent. Imagine a triangle, okay, of delay. We have our rising pitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, very top layer. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And then I went down all the way from 17 notes all the way to 0. But I'm going to go the same amount of notes, like 16 or whatever it was, and power it, but after this echoes. So like then it'll echo like this. And then it'll echo like this. And it'll echo like this, because again, the height of these platforms is the volume. Kind of makes sense? I hope so. I'm bad at explaining things. Modify. Only we need 1 extra repeater, I'm pretty sure. Like this. Now how could I best use my space here? I'm going to place a note block deliberately 1 ahead, like this. Now I'm going to go this way. Block. I go this way. And 1 extra repeater. Yes, we have one here. Sand, 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 sand. And just because I want to fill the space, I'm going to go like this. 2 and 1. 2, 1. But what about 0? I'll just fork it. And I'll add delay. Kind of like what I did here. So that's 3 ticks, because 1, 2, and our next one would be an extra repeater here. And that adds to 3. Like this. Good, that's our yellow. Now our green. We need 5 repeaters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the 5th one being 1 tick. Perfect. I'll go around like this. 1, 2, 1. There we go. The repeaters don't have to be within the line. Good. Next one, the blue. I have to add a lot of delay. 6 plus 1. Okay. Let's wrap it around. Go around. We don't need an extra repeater here, I don't think. This will bring us down to 1 before the last note. So I have to do yet another thing. And go like this. More delay. This acts as delay compensation. Guess we have 4 ticks there. I need an additional 8. That's it. Let's see how that sounds. It could be cooler. No, shut off. I'm gonna try adding 2 ticks wherever I can. Let's make the delay like 6 ticks per layer. Now we gotta do an extra 4 somehow. I think we're gonna have to do some dark magic. Let's go like this, because I can't fit another repeater in there at all. I just need 4 more ticks. Yes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I go like this. The repeater powers the block, which powers the dust. The dust powers the repeater. The repeater goes out like that. We're going out again. And we're going over. And we're coming back in. And that's fine because we're not powering the block under the note block. We're powering under the repeater. Strange. So that theoretically is the solution. So we need to look at blue up here. Oh, I like this one. This is easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Test! Well, it's not as dramatic as I hoped, but that's okay. No, 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 you idiot! Oh, I forgot. It's not 8 4-tick repeaters. It is 12. So we lost 3, but we have to add in 7. Yeah, that makes sense. And there we have it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Same thing. Oh, I didn't do it for the green. And for the red. Oh. See, now this is trickier. I can't do what I did before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Block that off and connect the dust. I think that's it. I believe we have finally finished. Okay, speakers. You were born to do this. Play! Amazing! Well, we did it. I'm going to clean up these levers a little bit. There. Well, there you have it. FL Studio in Minecraft. Our first noteblock song. I hope that watching this video has been very helpful to you and not more confusing. I am not the person to be explaining all these technical things. And again, this is using out of this world all the techniques that I might ever use. And I purposely put them in this machine even if I didn't need to. So don't feel like you need to use all the different techniques that I showed. You can get by just fine using a lot less, like just making noteblock loops. Not all the crazy wires and the time adjusting and all that. And that's all optional. So that said, I will put the world file in the description of this video in the Google Drive link, along with a bunch of other things. I'm pretty sure that's the last tutorial I'll do on this machine, unless you guys have a lot of questions on a particular topic or two. Yep, that's about it. Thank you all for watching, and as always, bye!